mixed or what. Alright, got my watercolor set here. I have a mixing palette. Typically I like to mix on a palette and not on the lid because it gets a lot trickier to do. I have water. It's only about half full. Temperature doesn't matter. When it gets nasty, I'll change it out. I have a little piece of old sponge and my assignment that I did before as a demo. Warning. Mixing purple is beautiful but absolutely challenging because it's already dark. It's dark and it's easy to go light. But that same purple, when you start to add black, it's really tricky to slowly make it darker. Alright? So this is your tints. These will be your shades when you add black. Your color opposites is like yellow across from purple on your color wheel. And you're going to think, why would you ever mix yellow across from purple? It's because you're going to learn how to make these beautiful plum colors and golden colors. So it's about actually equal mixing to get to here. The same thing with red and green to get these colors. And you're going to think, why in the world do we want to mix all these colors that are opposites? Okay, so when you see this changed because I put a little bit of red into the green, and this changed because I took a little bit of green and added it to red. So this is actually almost like a burgundy color, almost a half and half mixed of a neutral. So let's say I'm painting roses. This is how I can get all the beautiful different greens of the leaves and the stem, and also all the different reds. And the same thing because blue is opposite of orange. All right, hang on. Hi, I'm back again. I lost my sponge and my dog had it. Crazy, huh? All right, so to get started, first of all, I'm going to put a little bit of water. I'm going to put it in my cup, my nasty sponge, and I'm going to put water in each of my watercolor cakes. So I just go like this. I use my little sponge as a transporter, and I take my different brushes. Now I grab some brushes that I use pretty much often. This is a big flat brush. It's probably too big for this one, but it's a nice brush. Here's a smaller flat brush. You can see it when I turn it on its side. And I got two little round brushes. No, wait, another little flat and another little round one. Okay, now I know you want to be tempted and say, I'm just going to paint straight from here onto your project. But I want us to get used to mixing with the palette, and there's a reason why. When you mix with the palette, you can make sure you mix up enough that you don't run out, and that's a huge thing. So this is kind of like our goal that we're going for, and this is the one that I started to work on. The PowerPoint really does show you how to get all your lines. I did a line all the way around the outside for my border, and you also need 4 lines going the opposite directions. Again, you'll end up getting 25 different sections. And here I go. Alright. And I do like to twist them and kind of turn them up. We're making a nice non-objective design. Alright. So with that being said, I'm going to take a little piece of scratch paper. And I want to test my colors when I mix them. I actually find it really exciting. So I'm going to go and probably not do that purple. It's tricky. I'm going to probably start with blue. Now I'm actually going to start and make a nice blue puddle to start. Now it looks good in the puddle, but I definitely want to test it on a piece of paper, because then I'll know what it's going to look like. From the videos, our gentleman told us that he said watercolor dries about 50% lighter, so I'm going to be happy with this. I'm going to take my brush, and I'm going to paint right here. Now watch me first. I like to load up my brush, and I like to hold it down like a pencil, and I actually like to outline first. Watercolor means you actually have a lot of the water. So it really needs to be fluid and be able to make your strokes back and forth. So I edge it and then I fill it. And sometimes, I know it sounds weird, but I blow on it. If you get a big puddle that you don't like, take a piece of paper towel, do a little twist, and you can even soak up little puddles like this. I go and soak them up. So, yeah, soak up your puddles. Now I know I want to get lighter for my value, and I'm going to take some of this, rinse that out, and I'm going to put some over here, and I'm going to add a little water, but I really don't have a clue if that's what I want it to be right here. So hence, I go back to the testing paper. And I think I need a little more blue. I think I went too fast. And yes, you can layer it, and that'll probably work. So I'm going to go here. Now if I put this wet against the wet, it's probably going to go like this and kind of puddle. Like mine started to puddle even on my test. So I'm going to be so careful. And I'm going to leave a little white line. That's like a little barrier. So when I put my color on here, it's not going to blend. It's just a very delicate line. And then I can go back through with that watercolor. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go like this all the way through. So I'm loving that. Can add, get some more water, get some more blue, and test it out. Sometimes actually I make some pretty cool designs just on my paper. So I got this. I think that would be a good spot. In fact, I'm going to hold it right up to it because then I can really tell. And I'm happy with it. I have enough. I know I'm not going to run out. And running out kind of bums me out. So I don't want to run out. And I'm going to, careful, leave a little bit of white line for that. So you're understanding the concept that water is actually going to make your paint diluted and a little bit lighter in value. I'm going to go back and forth and not run out, crossing my fingers, right? And I'm pretty happy with this so far. Got a little bit of a spot right there. So I go all the way across, and this last one is going to be really, really light. And I'll test it. It is really light, like right here really light. And that would go right here. And then you could have a middle one right there. So this one is not plain white paper. And if you're thinking, where does white watercolor paint come from? Actually, you can leave the white of your paper, or you can actually buy white watercolor, and it is more, it is a little bit more thicker. All right, so I'd find my in-between one here, and I'd probably be getting an A on my tints. On my shades, I'm going to have blue and add a tiny bit of black and go all the way across to here. I had my blue, and I'm going to add some black, and I'm going to make a little puddle over here. So I have my blue, my black, and I don't know if this is going to be too much. You just can't tell until you stir it in and test it out. Oh my golly, that is so dark. Oh my gosh, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to start over. Got some blue. And this time, I'm going to be a little more sensitive and slow and take just a tiny, sneak in a little bit of tiny blue with that black. And now I can see it. That's going to be a little bit better. Oh, that's even kind of strong. I add some water. So yeah, test it out. That comes the challenge because you can get so many infinite tests. That makes your actual paint set almost infinite. So this is my first shade. A shade is actually when you have your color and you add a little black. I don't want to add too black too quick like I did. So I'm going to be careful. Sometimes I get so excited when I paint I want to rush. And that's when I have to teach myself to slow down and think about neatness and craftsmanship. So right now, that is my first shade. I'm proud of that. It has just a tiny little smidgen of black. And I can go all the way across, a little more black, a little more black, a little more black. And this was not going to be pure black, but it's going to be really dark. Maybe even close to that one that I mixed up before. So tints is when you just have your water to get light. And shades is when you have your color and you're slowly adding black. Now, here we go. When you get ready to do your intensity, that's not the same. Value is your lights and darks. Intensity is like a whole different world you see down here. That's when you take your two opposites. So you're going to be mixing purple with your yellow, mix your greens with your reds, and your orange with your blues. All right. So pretend I'm done. All right. Remember to test your colors because sometimes it is really tricky to see it on your palette. So when you do turn this in, I want you to turn it in like this and with your grade sheet. These are the two things you need to photograph for Schoology. If you don't like your first one, do it again on the back. All right, that way you get more experience. This paper right here is that square paper that you picked up at school, or any square paper, and it's about 6 or 7 inches. Alright, so it's nothing that's really too big. If you don't have watercolor, enjoy trying this with Jell-O or food coloring. Maybe I saved an egg carton that was styrofoam. I can definitely use that for my little wells of my watercolor palette. So enjoy that too. If you want to try this digitally, there's an app that you can download. It's called the Drawing and Painting app from desktop. Try this digitally. But you know, I really love the hands-on. Alright? The due date for this is already in Schoology, and enjoy this assignment. And the next time I talk to you, we're going to be doing some advanced watercolor painting techniques. Thank you.